Tanks to Ukraine, water to Wall Street, and elk in our highways on this week's Uncharted update. Private equity groups are getting very interested in water, with one private equity group manager calling it a $1 trillion market opportunity. A group called Water Asset Management, which is run on Wall Street, has invested over $20 million in land in western Colorado. Why? Well, it borders the Colorado River, and with that land comes water rights. The strategy is pretty simple. Buy the land, figure out how to use water more efficiently to grow crops on that land, take the excess water, and sell it off to places that may use something like Lake Mead for their water currently, which is diminishing every day. For every increase in temperature by 1 degree, we're seeing a 5% decrease in water supply in reservoirs. Now, multiply that over the century and we're 25% down already. These guys are hedging on the fact that climate change is real, water is going to keep becoming more and more scarce, and people are going to pay a premium for it. As one guy said, when water's what you need, water's the only thing that's going to solve for it. So I guess what this comes down to is if you believe in climate change, or if you think this is a short-term bet, a long-term bet, if this is our future, I guess time will tell, but pretty curious. Last year, Joe Biden said sending tanks to Ukraine would be World War III.
The idea that we're going to send in offensive equipment and have planes and tanks and trains going in with American pilots and American crews, that's called World War III. Today, I'm announcing that the United States will be sending 31 Abrams tanks to Ukraine.
So, what are we doing here? Here's how I understand it. The tanks are being sent to Ukraine to help retake territory that Russia currently occupies. That was Ukraine's before the war. Now, this is a big NATO move because other countries are sending tanks as well, despite the fact that Ukraine isn't actually a part of NATO. So what does this mean? This probably means that NATO thinks Russia is generally bluffing because we keep running right past the red lines they give us. So either they're not worried about them, they think Russia is unable to retaliate, or they're just getting more emboldened as more people get on the side of Ukraine. But here's the interesting part in this. We're sending 30 tanks. It's going to take months, if not years, to get those tanks over there. And then simply servicing them, updating them, knowing how to run them is a whole other can of worms. My guess is before those tanks even get there, there's going to be other things that have happened. The war is going to shift. Maybe we commit to other resources, and it's going to be an afterthought by the time they're finally in theater and being used. Here's what concerns me. China. China's not involved. They're sitting on the sidelines and they are bolstering their military while we are depleting ours by sending everything to Ukraine. Eventually, it's going to get to a point where they probably will attack Taiwan because they don't feel that we can fight a war on two fronts. And they're probably right. But we're going to try. This is not going to end well, but hey, war is good for the economy, so at least we've got that going for us, right? So the elk in our own backyard got some national attention last week when about 80 of them found their way onto I-80 and stopped traffic for a while. In fact, some of our own employees here at Uncharted couldn't get home because of the elk herd taking up the westbound lanes of the highway. So why is this happening? Well, it is a crazy winter. There's tons of snow, which always will push elk down. But the new thing that's been happening the last few years is the elk have nowhere to go because of urban sprawl. We're building homes in all the places they used to hang out, and that's forcing them down closer and closer to humans. Personally, this is heartbreaking for me to see. These animals are just trying to find a place to eat, to be safe, and they're literally not to be found anymore. So my plea to you, talk to your local government. If this is happening in your area, do what you can to protect the wild spaces, give those animals some space, and in the meantime, keep your eye out because you're going to find them on your highways if you're living in a place like Park City. That's it for this week. Hope you join us next week. Let us know what you think below. Talk to you later.